So good morning, good afternoon, and also good evening. This is the third lab we've selected for the series. Now I want to talk about the Windows Task Manager. So as a SOC analyst, as a cybersecurity expert, as somebody that wants to get into entry-level job roles, understanding the Windows operating system, and as well when we talk about the Linux operating system, it's something that you must and you should be able to grasp. Now, you need to understand the role that the Windows Task Manager plays in terms of working processes or working systems, or things that are working on the background. So I want to explore the Windows Task Manager. So in this lab 3.312, lab 3.312, want to look at the Windows Task Manager. Working in the process tab, services, and performance. The Task Manager is a system monitor program that provides information about the processes and programs running on the computer. One of the reasons, like I said earlier on, why you want to understand this is that if you have underlying processes, if you have malwares, if you have backdoors, if you have applications that are running or that makes your system susceptible to attack, this is one way you can be able to identify them. This is one way you can be able to see them. You can stop them. You could now do further forensics or further research on it. And the prerequisite for this lab is a Windows PC with an internet connection. Okay, working in the process lab, that is the first one. So open the command prompt and a web browser. So we want to use Edge, for instance. There we also want to open our CMD, our command line prompt. So this is up. I like to change my directory to the main or CLS. Sorry, I thought I was on a Linux environment. So I'm being told to open Edge. This is the Edge browser and also the command line interface. So open the command prompt and the web browser. Microsoft Edge is used in this lab. So that's why we're using Microsoft Edge. If you run a Windows system, you typically have Edge automatically installed. Okay, so right click the task bar to open Task Manager. Another way to open Task Manager is to press Ctrl Alternate Delete. So I'll just do Ctrl Alternate Delete, right? I tap on the Task Manager. I have this. So this is the Task Manager. Don't forget the labs. Our focus on the labs is processes, services, and performance. Processes, services, and performance, right? So let's try it on with the lab. Click more details to see all the processes that are listed in the processes tab. Processes, right? So this is the processes. So you have all of it here. So these are all the items that I have running on my processes. Expand the command, Windows command processor heading. What is listed under the heading? Windows command processor. Windows command processor. Windows command processor. So let me see if I can get to the Windows command processor. Did I see it? Windows command processor. Am I seeing it? Let me see if I can tap www. Windows logon, Windows session, Windows startup, WAPS, Windows command processor. So this is it here. That's the latest process I just initiated. So I'm asked to expand. I tap on this button. So I have console Windows host and Windows command processor. So what are the listed? What is listed under this heading? So you have command prompt, Windows command processor. So that's what should be your answer there. Now, there are three categories of processes listed in the process tabs. So you have apps, background processes, and Windows processes. So you can see it. If I go up, I have apps. So all the applications I have running on this PC now. Don't forget, I told you one of the reasons why you're learning this, you want to see, because you can start, you can be given an application. Once you run the application, you find out that there are other softwares that are running at the background. So that's not what you want. So you want to be able to learn, how do you investigate some actions or some applications that are, you might feel they are susceptible to an attack. So see the apps. So these are all the apps currently running. So if as the owner of this system, or as the IT support for this particular system, or the SOC analyst for this particular system, or I'm investigating the particular system, and I see anything that is unknown to me, so I can now start querying. For instance, I have my Chrome here running. I have 16 tabs open. I have Microsoft Edge. I have 4 tabs open. I have Microsoft Project, because I do project management. I was working on a project before this. So I have that open. I have Notepad. I have sticky notes where I write most of my notes. I have this task manager that's currently open. I have Visual Studio Code, which I use to code some programs. Then I have this particular Windows command I just opened. And then, of course, my Explorer, I have 5 tabs. My WPS writer, which I use, which you have here, look at it, this writer, that is these 5 items, open 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you have XAMPP. I have XAMPP running. Then I have Zoom meeting. I use in recording this particular item. So you see that these applications say that 13 in number. If I see anything that I didn't start, I didn't initiate, it now calls for concern. I'll talk about all of this later on. So the next thing now is, okay, yes, you have apps, background processes, and Windows processes. So you have the next one there is background processes. So there are some processes that are running within your system that are not, some of them are primarily essential, some of them are not. So if you are doing some investigation, you also want to check out, for instance, what is consuming most of your CPU memory? Do you have any backdoor? Do you have something that is sending something to somewhere? So I have some of these background services. You can check them out and see. Like I use a Dynabook, a Toshiba Dynabook. You have it, Google Crash handler. Then down, you now have a, okay. So I have Windows processes. Yes, you have Windows processes. Then you now have background services, background processes. Then of course you have apps. So that confirms what our lab tells us we're going to say. The apps are the applications that you have opened, such as Edge, Task Manager, Windows Command Manager, Processor. Other applications that are opened by the user, such as web browsers and email clients, will also be listed here. The background that is executed, the background by applications that are currently open. For instance, you see Edge. Edge might need something, right, to run at the background. For instance, Zoom. Zoom might need something to run at the background. You see Edge? So this is the background service for Edge. You see Zoom that we saw as an application. This is a background service for Zoom. Let me see if I can see one. Okay, I have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 background processes, right? Running just for Zoom. Then you have Windows processes. Windows processes are Microsoft Windows services that run in the background. So this is just a screenshot of what we saw. So right click, console Windows host and select properties. Right click, console Windows host and select properties. Windows, let me see. Console window host. So let me just type console. I'm typing C. Console, let me go back. Console, trying to search for C, console Windows process. Let me see. Console Windows process. Console Windows host. I'm seeing console Windows host. Console Windows host. Okay, console Windows host. That's the thing. Console Windows host. That's correct. Then I'm told to right click and select properties. So I go to right click. I select properties. I think if I show us the is an application Excel file. This is the location. So it's located under my system 32 folder. It was created this time. I think that was when I got the system. I accessed it, I think today, 21 minutes ago. We could see security, the security, who can use it, who can modify it. What are the applications or stuff that uses it? These are the details. By Microsoft, this is the size, this is the original name. This is the description. These are previous versions, okay? It doesn't have any. So for any of these guys, same thing for Zoom meeting, you could see properties, you could see what the name, you see where the installation file is. You could see other details about, you could see who created it, Zoom Video Communications International. The name is Zoom Meetings. This is the product version of this particular product. The trademark is original name is Zoom. This is the product version. So you could inspect whatever you have running and get further information about it. Okay, so what is the location of the file and location of this process? So the answer is the associated file name is conhost, like we saw. If you right click properties, sorry, a moment. Properties, conhost, right? That is the associated name, conhost. Okay, so sorry. Close the command prompt windows. What happens to Windows command processor and console Windows host when the command prompt is closed? So I open, this guy is still open. That's why this guy is on. That's why this guy is on. So I'll watch this guy. Let me expand this guy. So I'll watch this guy while I close this guy. So I can even type dir, show the file, cd into my XAMPP, cd into my XAMPP, sorry, cd into my XAMPP. The folder I have here. Let's list all of the things I have here. Order the directory. I see all of the file I have here. So if I close this, watch this guy, put your eyes here. If I close this guy, what happens? You see the Windows command processor is gone. So this keeps track of all the applications you have up and running. So what happens is that the associated processes have ended and no longer listed in the task manager. The next part of our lab is click on the memory heading. Click on the memory heading a second time. Okay, let me close this. I don't know why it's not closing. So I have memory. So I'm told to click the second time. So the first time, it's going to sort, what's going to happen is it's going to sort memory usage. If you want to see which guy is actually using the most of my RAM, you could do this. So Chrome, some people don't even understand that Chrome is a heavy data bandwidth user compared to Edge. Edge is the lightest amongst all of the browsers. You can research that. I don't mean research by going to websites to check which browser consumes much bandwidth compared to others. No, investigate it yourself, right? Come to Process Manager, open your Zoom, rather open your Chrome and get to 2, 3, 4 websites. Let's say 3 websites, get to 3 websites, get to CNN, get to Amazon, get to Conga or Jumia.com. 3 websites that you know. Do 1 or 2 things and check your memory usage. Close that, open another, what was it called? Another browser, do same thing and see which one has the highest memory usage. So Chrome, not because it has 16 tabs open, but generally consumes a lot of bandwidth. That's why it's always very swift and fast compared to most of these other browsers. That's my opinion anyway. Okay, so pick the memory heading, click the memory heading the second time. What effect does this have on the columns? Clicking the memory heading causes the process to be sorted by the amount of memory each process is using. Each time you click, it reverses the order largest to smallest, then smallest to largest, right? Just like I said. So if I open this up and tap here, you see it's going from the little to the maximum size, maximum usage. Same thing here. Same thing if you do for the CPU usage. The guy that's using my most CPU usage is my what's it called, my Zoom meeting, because that's what I'm actively using now. My disk space, what is taking my most disk space, my Zoom, what is taking my most bandwidth, 0.1 MB per second, is actually this guy. Which is taking the most is power usage is still my Zoom. So that just it. You could see at times you see some systems are slow, at times you see some systems they're not responding as fast as you want them to. You're looking at is anything within my system that is actually consuming bandwidth? Is anything within my system that is taking much of system resources? Task Manager is one place you can do that. Okay, so next part of our lab. So this is it. Right click on the memory heading and then select resources, memory, percent. You want to check percent usage, right? Let me do that for Zoom. I get on Zoom, right click, resource values, network, percent. So it could sort and provide the values in percent, right? You could right click this and say, okay, for memory, I want to see the percent usage. Resource value, let's say memory, I want percent values. It's going to give you how many percent. Unfortunately, you are seeing that Zoom is taking 4.2%, whereas Chrome is taking 23.7%. You can actually go back and make it just the values. So depending, you see, it has changed back to the values in MB. For processor, you could go back for, okay, I think you could do for memory, disks, and networks. For network, we're talking about bandwidth usage. For memory, you're talking about how much of RAM, how much of working space is each of these particular applications consuming. Okay, back to our lab. So that's what I just did here. You right click on the item. You could also indicate what you want to see. Then memory, you could indicate which of them you want to see, either values or percent. Okay. So what effect does this have on the memory column? The column now displays the memory usage in percent value like we saw. How could this be useful? Displaying processes this way can assist an administrator in determining what services may be causing memory issues by showing how much available memory is being used by each service. Okay, so anything important here? Working on the services tab. So in the service, I think I skipped something, but it still applies to same thing like we did earlier on. If you close the edge, if you end the task, what happens? So just like previously when we closed the command prompt. Working in the services tab, in the Task Manager windows, click the service tab. Use the scroll bar on the right side of the services windows to view all the services listed. What statuses are listed? Stopped and running. So I go to services, right? So it shows me all of the services running on this system and show me which one is running, which one is stopped, right? Which one is running and which one is stopped. So you see AVG antivirus is running. So if I stop AVG antivirus now, let me try that. Right click. It doesn't allow me to do that. What's happening? Normally you right click, if you stop that service or you pause your antivirus, or let's say something like let me see, Xbox. I don't use Xbox. So you could start and stop a service. Once you do that, what happens is that it's now listed here as started, or rather running, or stopped. Okay. Performance tab. We could go there, click on performance. We just see what is actually happening. See my memory size is I'm using actually 48% of my CPU memory. I'm running a Core i5 2.6 gigahertz system. I'm running an 8 gram. See my hard disk, the percent usage right now. So let's say you are doing something, you're doing a heavy browsing, you're copying or you're duplicating file, or you're doing some activities, or you're streaming, you could come see your usage, right? I think that was just plot a graph of all the things that are actually happening now with respect to percent usage. Okay. So how many threads are running? I could show I have processes 244 here. I have 2854 threads. Handles 113,000. The base speed is 2.6, just correlates to this. My uptime, this system has been up for the last 3 hours. Okay, I think that's all. So how many processes are running? So you have, this guy has 104, 127, 1271. So I have my processes, my threads, my speed, and my total utilization. So this is the complete utilization of my CPU. If I tap on memory, it shows how much of my processor I'm using. If I tap on my hard disk, how much of my hard disk I'm using currently. Okay, so I think, okay, memory, this is for memory. So you see how much available space, memory, how much physical memory used by the computer. So that's what I just showed you now. For Ethernet also, same thing. I could tap on the Ethernet. Okay, I think this one. So this one is the virtual box. This is my actual NIC card. This is my virtual box. They are not on. Once I turn them on and they are tapping internet from my main machine, you're going to see the graph we start indicating. So this is my internet. I'm not doing so much. I'm just recording. I'm not browsing over the internet. Let me try to do something. Let me try to stream a YouTube video. Let me see if I can. Some of this video I just uploaded. So just watch this guy. So it's changing. You see internet usage. This is the IP version, my IP version 4 address, my IP version 6 address. You see KB per second. You see activity now, right? Because of usage. So if the system is actively in use, it's going to show up all of the progress, right? And of course, you know, in your processes, you're going to see I have Chrome opened and I want to see memory usage and CPU usage. So Chrome, because actually I'm streaming a YouTube video now. If I go to performance and I go to Ethernet, I'm going to see all that in, right? Okay, that's that about. So you see the link speed, the up and the down, the uplink and the downlink. See my IP version 4 address, my IP version 6 address. Okay, so that's the video playing. So let me pause that. So you see the activity there. I can also double check or confirm this. Let me go to my CMD. I can also double check this IP version 4 and IP version 6 address. So I just do an IP config. It will tell me I'm using my Ethernet adapter to do this connection. So which is this guy? Yes. So 192.168.556. Is it? No, this is for virtual box. This is for virtual box. This is it. This is for the adapter, the Ethernet adapter. I'm connecting using a LAN cable. So this is 192.168.8.100. That's what my router gave to me. And this is my IP version 6 address, FE80, FE80, : This : This is not a networking class anyway, but that's how to, this is a compressed version of the IP version 6, right? So this dot dot just means that you have 0000. So it's been abbreviated and compressed to this format. So you see it is exact same thing as you have there. Okay, back to our lab. So you're being asked, what is the link speed of this particular computer? How much speed is this computer running on? Or is rather, is this computer connecting to your router or your switch or whatever? If you use a network monitor, it can tell for every PC. But where you can use Task Manager to know for this particular PC, right? This is the uplink and the downlink. So of course you can know which system is consuming quite a lot. And the IP address, this is it. Okay, so you can click Open Resource Monitor to see all of this. I will do that. To see the CPU, the disks, the network, and the memory. Okay, so I could tap Open Resource Monitor, show same thing like you see in the lab document. So you could see everything as it's happening. I prefer this interface. I prefer this interface compared to this interface, but just same thing, just in a very summarized format. You can see everything just like it's happening, right? You could see the CPU, you could see the overview, you could see the CPU, you could see just for memory, you could see just for disks, you could see just for your network. So you see my top applications, Zoom, Chrome. You see how many the process IDs for these two applications, how many bytes we're sending and receiving, and the total, right? My network activity, how many kilobytes per second, my network utilization. Of course, when this goes very, very high, it turns red. Of course, what ports are we listening at? I explained this when we use the TCP view, right? It's almost same thing. So this is Windows' own network monitoring for that comes with the Task Manager. TCP view is another utility that can do same thing that this guy is doing. So you want to practice most of these things, run them in your system and see if you can see the underlying processes that happens within your system. Why is it important for administrator to understand how to work within the Task Manager? The Task Manager can be a valuable tool for administrator when troubleshooting problems with the Windows PC. It provides information about CPU, memory, disks, and network usage. It can help you to also start a process or end a process. For instance, see a process like my edge, right? See this edge that is opened. You have a process or something that is slowing down, or it's hanging, or it's not responding. You could come to Task Manager, go to the processes, identify that particular item, like my XAMPP now, or let's, yes, my XAMPP. See the XAMPP, I've highlighted it, see it here, it's up, this is it here. So I could just end it. If I end it, it will go off. You see, it's off. No XAMPP again, it's gone. So if the XAMPP is problematic or giving you issues, one thing you could do is you could get to Control Alternate Delete, come to your Task Manager, get to the particular process, and of course you cannot end your task. You indicate the particular item and you can end your task, right? You just end the task and that's gone. See, this guy is going to go off now. So it's telling me, do I want to save? I close, right? She's gone. That guy is gone. It's off. Okay, so that's the advantage of you understanding your Task Manager. That's the end of this particular lab. So see you in the subsequent labs. Thank you very much.